Good. Hey, welcome everyone. We are officially halfway done today. So it's our halfway party, but we're going to share Pear Deck as well. Hey, let me put a couple of you on the spot. Kathy, what's a favorite technology that you've seen so far?
Really put me on the spot.
Yes. I feel bad if she said none of the
I
above.
probably like everything but OneNote.
That's fair. That's fair. It does
OneNote
save
before.
automatically, so it's kind of cool, but yes, I get it.
Yeah. It's too much duplicating for me.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Beth, how
But
about you?
everything else I like.
Good. Beth?
I did like OneNote.
Good.
But I agree with Kathy. It kind of overlaps with a lot of things that we're already using. And so, like, to create stuff, it's pulling things from one document and putting them in another. It was cool.
Yeah, everyone's been using different things, so I'm just trying to show you some new things, I'm hoping. How many, for most of you, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. What has this been newer things? Newer things? Good,
Yes.
good. I did. So hopefully a couple new things that you can use. My goal is that you have a few new go-tos by the end of the summer, and I hope that's going to be true. Hey, today I'm going to share my desktop and dig into Pear Deck. It's it's been kind of voted by the Department of Ed as one of the best new ways with remote learning, so we definitely didn't want to leave it out. It's being used by elementary schools all the way through college programs and graduate programs. So I think it might be something that a lot of us can use. Let me start with the website for Pear Deck is at peardeck.com. And it really does empower teachers to provide feedback. I'm going to have everybody go on mute real quick, just in case we're getting a little feedback out there, but we'll pop you guys in soon. So if you wouldn't mind if your mic is on mute, that would be awesome. Hey, so I need everyone to get interactive with me. Could everybody go grab your smartphones? And we're going to be using them today. You don't have to download anything. Just grab a smartphone. We'll get you involved in a second. And if you don't have a smartphone handy, don't worry. You'll be able to open a tab on any device. Pear Deck works on PCs and Macs and Chromebooks, Google Classrooms, Microsoft Classrooms, whatever. So that's good. We're going to do all the free pieces. There is a paid piece, but we're going to avoid that and you won't need that at all. And I'm not sure you would ever need it, but that's your call. But we're going to use all the free stuff today. To get everyone involved, I want to show you first how I'm running my slides. And this is one of the tricky parts, so everybody really tune in. So when I was learning Pear Deck, the first thing I did was I went to peardeck.com and create a free teacher login. There's no cost involved. And I just use, let's say, my school email address, which is fine. And then the next thing I did was I started going under resources and clicking activities and decks and started to look through what they call their orchard. If you think about it, pear, orchard, it may hit you later. But what the orchard is are all these templates that you can use with PowerPoint or Google Slides, and you're welcome to use either one. And when I click on See All Templates, there are all these slide decks that I could integrate within any of my regular slides. So for example, how to start a beginning of class with a remote class or a face-to-face, how to build community, how to do math and science and history and economics and all these different areas here, how to include social emotional learning. And you can download the Google slides or open them, or download the PowerPoint slides and open those. So I wanted to show you what I did first. So I went to peardeck.com, made a free account, and I looked through what their templates had. Second step, I went to office.com. Let me show you on my screen. Office.com. This Office.com is Microsoft's free, no cost. You don't even have to use your school email. You can use a free Microsoft email that you could even create at Office.com. And Office.com has the free versions of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. These are the lightweight versions. So there's a reason we're going to use the free. And to make sure you're logged into, this is for my CVCC people, we're having some trouble at the college. They have things way too tight and they're trying to open it up today. But you could come up here in the right and log in and log out of your school account and just go into a free account if you're having issues. So we're going to go into the free version of PowerPoint today, right here. And the reason we're going to use the free online version of PowerPoint today is that we want people to meet us in the cloud. And this is the cloud or free online version that happens in any browser. So I'm at office.com, I'm opening up PowerPoint, and I'm opening up some of the slides that I put together today. I'll talk about these slides later. And I want to connect them with Pear Deck. So there are 2 steps involved, and I'm getting through all the steps now. So once you see this, this is being recorded today, so you can go back up and try this again if I'm going too fast. So what I did was I went under the Insert tab of Free PowerPoint. I wouldn't even need to have a good slide deck open yet. But once I have that free side open here, I can go under the Insert tab, come over to the word Add-ins, and click Add-ins, and I can go over to the store. And what add-ins are like thousands of different products that Microsoft works with that we can use their product for free. So we're going to put Pear Deck in here. So when I type in Pear Deck, it'll show me this free add-in. I'd only need to do this one time ever. And now I would have this free add-in. And now when I go to the Home tab, I'm going to click these 3 dots over here on the right to make sure I see Pear Deck. And there is a video in your assignment that goes through this, or for my Google folks, you can use your Google Slides, and I have directions for you as well. So that's how I got this Pear Deck side to log in right here. I then logged in with whatever account that I created Pear Deck with at peardeck.com. And this is how I got it to go. But I have directions in the homework, and I can help you individually if you get stuck. Now, I want to present with Pear Deck. So I want everyone to grab your smartphone right now. I'm going to click on Present with Pear Deck. And the first thing I want to point out once I start Pear Deck is there's 2 ways to run this in your class. One is called the student paced activity. This means students wouldn't need to be in a live class. If you're not on mute right now, if you could put yourself on mute, I think I'm hearing something in the background. So we could do a student paced activity. This means that students could go through my slides whenever they want to and at whatever pace they want to. Perfect for remote learning. But in my remote learning class or face-to-face class, I might meet with them like we're meeting live and want to do instructor paced. This means I'm going to move my slides and ask you to be a part of it. So I'm going to click instructor paced activity. And now everyone grab your smartphones. Now, if you're watching the recording, your smartphone is not going to work for this, but you'll be able to see other people use theirs to get the idea of how this is going to work. So here's what I want you to do on your smartphone. It doesn't matter if it's iPhone or Android. I want you to open a browser and type in this website, joinpd.com. joinpd.com. And search that. You'll see a website. When you hit joinpd.com, that will ask you to join a presentation in progress. It's probably the first link. Join a presentation in progress. You guys are ahead of me. 8 of you have already connected. I'm getting there for everyone, sorry. Now you're going to put in this 5-letter code. And to help you, it always comes up with these cute little words. Hilarious quizzes lift confused ninjas. That's just helping you understand that's an L and not a 1. So if you would, and it doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase, type in HQLCN. And if you're having trouble, it's hilarious quizzes lift confused ninjas. And by the way, I already have 14 of you connected, so super simple. Now, real quick, do me a favor. At the top of your device, it tells you what your avatar is. Mine is a snake. Everyone do this. Go into the chat of Teams, and let's read real quick what everyone's avatar is just for a moment. So I'm going to go look over here. We're clicking that little show conversation bubble, and I'm going to type that I'm the snake here. And then I see that we've got a wolf, we've got a crab, a shark, an elephant, a clownfish. Lindsay, you are special today. I like that. Hey, Ernie, you're a tree frog, a buffalo, a hummingbird, a bear, a turkey. So are you getting the idea? Now, the only reason that we're having this is if you want to, we can actually put names in as well, but we're going to start with our little avatars. Now, let me go back. Now we're going to get you guys involved. We've got 16 of you connected, and you could just go to Join PD on a tab of your browser. I've got zebra and mammoth, by the way. And you could type in the same code at Join PD at a full Chromebook, PC, Mac. You don't have to have a smartphone. Got it? Now that we've got, I'm going to start my class, and you guys see my first slide. But notice something before I go any further. Everybody on your device, it's probably saying, how are you feeling today? Or if you don't want to share, you could skip that question. So look up in the upper right-hand corner up here, everyone. Do you see where it says HQLCN? If anyone joins us late, we could let them know that this is the code at joinpd.com. So just so you see that in the top right. Now, let me show you how this is interactive.
Wait, I don't see it.
Okay.
I just see all of our faces.
Same here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make sure I share my desktop again, because I may have dropped that. So thank you for saying that. Let me share that desktop. I think someone else tried to share their desktop and took me away. It's okay. Now you're seeing it?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Sorry. Thank you for saying that. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to build a Pear Deck lesson. We're going to explore the student and the instructor views. Talk about Teams, because guess what? Teams works with this too. And of course, open it up to question and discussion. But I want to get you guys involved as soon as possible. So on the screen right now, we see college students, we see high school students, we see elementary students. But I have a question for you. How much do you know about Pear Deck all before this class? So I want to show you how to answer that using your device. So grab your smartphone, tap answer question. It's near the bottom in green. And do you guys see 4 different multiple choice? I knew nothing about it. I know what it is, but I've used it. I tried it out. I use it and love it. So if you wouldn't mind answering that question, and you're like, well, I answered it, but I don't see anybody's responses. What I am able to do on the teacher side, everybody look up at my screen right now. I can click down here after I've given everyone a chance to answer, and now click show responses. And now I can see everyone's answers. Do you see what I mean? Now I can see everyone answers all layered together. We call this an overlaid layout, or we could see individual answers. So, and we'll show you maybe how to get who's saying what in a second. So let me go to our next slide. This can also be used for what we consider social emotional learning. And under this environment, sometimes it's kind of good to check in with students where they're at, and they don't have to answer this. But look at your device right now and move this purple bar to how you're feeling today. You'll see that if you move it around or tap, it'll move. And now as I show these responses, do you see everybody moving around right now to kind of see where we're at? Go ahead and move your bar right now so you can kind of see that movement. But we could also see individuals, and I'm not going to show that, but I could look at it later. What else can I do? Hey, let me ask you another question. What describes your current expected fall remote learning environment? I want you to understand that as the educator, I can ask any question, put any graphic on this slide, put any text or prompt on this slide, and I can do it in any subject area or have it generalized. So everyone, what best describes your current expected fall remote learning environment? Go ahead and answer that question. Do you think right now that you're going to be more synchronous, more asynchronous, or maybe both? So go ahead and answer that question. Let me go ahead and see everybody's responses, and I'm going to layer them. And we're seeing a lot of the school plans come out. Lynchburg City came out, by the way, Bedford. Central Virginia Community College for our traditional face-to-face classes is now going to be somewhat synchronous and somewhat asynchronous. We're going to do live events over the internet at their class times. So we're seeing a little bit of everything, if you would. Hey, what else? We're now also seeing this for online faculty meetings or team meetings or budgetary meetings at your school, whatever it is, parent meetings. So let me ask you a question. Let's say during an online faculty meeting, you were asked the question, how can we make our campus more inclusive? So go ahead and tap answer question. I'm not going to identify anyone on this one. So if you just want to share how, it's a tough question. How can we make our campus more inclusive to everyone? So if you want to type anything and we'll share it momentarily. It's a tough question. But now we could get everyone's feedback even during a faculty meeting, and we could leave it private if we didn't want anyone to know who said what. And notice you can even add multiple responses. Let's start to see what everyone said. Allow students to use computer labs by appointment. Love that one. Staff is welcoming to everyone. Limit class size. Honor diversity. Emphasize diversity. Making sure we provide all learning, all modalities and learning. Isn't this neat that everyone kind of can put their answer in? And this wouldn't have to be along these lines. It could be subject related as well. In fact, I want you to notice something. What you can do at any point in time here is, let me point it out on this slide, but we're going to see it on the next. Does everyone notice down here in the bottom right where my mouse is circling? There's been this symbol on a lot of your slides. Let me go to the next one to show you on some of these what this looks like on some of them. I'm going to do two things on this slide. First of all, look at this. This is one from a history class or a government class or an English class or a science class, something that would be in a timeline or chronological order. By the way, I think my letters got messed up. It should be like 1380, 1450, 1480. On this one, if you want to try it and put in, you can actually, on this particular question, you can put on the timeline where anything is as far as, you know, where is that? So if you want to draw arrows or lines or drag things around, but please understand you would replace this with events relevant to your lesson. So if we want to see, people probably aren't sure what to do here and what is the answers, but we can see, look at everyone's kind of drawing on their slides, and we could kind of get responses like this as well. So again, think about right now with online learning, we don't really get meaningful feedback very often, or get to listen to everyone's answer, or gauge how the class is doing as we're presenting. So now, if we're presenting with something with slides, we could have this be a lot more interactive. Now, let me take something, let's say chemistry. I want to show you the gamut. I don't want you to think this is just an elementary tool or just a college tool. Let's say we were teaching high school or college, and now on this, if I ask the class, could everybody circle gold? Gold, please. And I could assign students different colors, or I just want to see. So I'm asking you to circle the element that represents gold. Everybody's looking around like, I don't see G-O-L-D. Now my science teachers in here are going to be ringers. But now when I show their responses, a lot of you had it here. There's AU for gold. Let me see. Let somebody in here real quick. So let me get Kim in here. Good. If you're just joining us right now, if someone wouldn't mind going to the chat and typing in joinpd.com and the code so they could join us. And if you're just joining your, let's put you on mute real quick so we're not getting some feedback. So now we could put that in there as well. You could do labeling of diagrams. We all teach different items. This could be for like 4th grade. We could ask them from the word bank on the left, can you label the diagram? So in other words, they could type the word mantle, they could draw an arrow to mantle, any which way, but of course you'd replace this with whatever image you're learning. It could be something extremely advanced, like in a psychology class. It could be something like the id, the super id, and we would draw, you know, what those meanings are. Or it could be a diagram of a biology heart, whatever here. So let's see. Whoa, there we go. So now students could check how they're doing. This could be ask questions like in a science class, what materials will you need to conduct the experiment? And the students could click answer question. On this one, I want to do something different. No need to answer the question yet. What I want you to do is right in front of answer question. Do you see the book with the speaker? It's called the immersive reader button. Go ahead and click on book and the speaker on your device. You won't see it on my screen. And what it's going to do is if you want for the question to be read to you, everybody hit play.
Experiment.
So if I hit play right here, it will actually read.
What materials will you need to conduct the experiment?
If we were doing this with really young grades, like kindergarten, grade 1, who's not reading yet, this could be read to them. But don't forget, with this immersive reader, you could translate it in tons of different languages. And if you turn on your picture dictionary, when you click on the word materials, it would actually show you what that word is for students who are new to the language that you're teaching in. So that would be pretty cool. So we could ask almost anything. Let me show you some other types of questions. This one I find fascinating. What I want you to do on this one, it says find Mount Ranier on Google Earth. Now it could be anything, but here's what it does. When you click answer question, what I've done here is put in a website. If you look at my screen real quick here, let me go back into this one. When I go to on my screen here in a moment, you'll notice on yours that it says it's taking you to google.com/earth. So now the students with a really long website that you had wanted them to go, once again, maybe you're in a psychology class and you wanted them to take a personality assessment, but it's this really long website. They could go do that on their mobile device and then come back and share whatever. So they could go out, do this, and come back. Don't feel like you have to go do it, but just wanted to show you different ways we can use this. We can even do learn different languages. I don't think anyone in here speaks this particular language. Maybe someone could help me. Is this Chinese, Japanese? I know it's not Korean. I should know that. I think it's Chinese, Mandarin, maybe someone might know from our group, I don't know. But if we were teaching that particular language, now someone could draw and illustrate the sentence, whatever that says. So now we could do foreign language and get things integrated along that way. Let's see if anybody knows anything here. I don't see any response. Everybody's like, yeah, don't know that one. So how about my math teachers? I'll let my math teachers answer this one, or if you want to give it a try. If I wanted the class to graph whatever, and again, I could change whatever the graph, I could make it a three-dimensional graph. I could do a single number line if I were learning something. So now, if we want to do some responses here, we could see some of these answers as well. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do a line as well. I think it's more like that. There we go. We get some answers here. Good try. So what I think I like about it is no matter what level we're talking about and what curriculum it works, let me show you something from kindergarten. I don't want my teachers who teach younger grades to feel left out, but everyone, you can try this. Circle the items that start with a B. Everyone, I'll give you a moment to do this one. So everyone, circle the items that start with a B. And then I'll come down here and see how we're doing. Oh, there we go. No one renamed the donut. Good. Yeah. So now, oh, so I said, oh, donut. Let me circle that one just in case. So now we can get students at any age level, whether we're talking chemistry. And, you know, I think every student does deserve a voice. Everyone, what are you thinking on this? Do you agree that they have a voice or do you disagree? Let's let everybody decide if every student deserves a voice. That's a good answer. So what we're seeing here, and I'm going to show you how to make these slides in a second. So what I wanted you to understand, and I'm going to go back to a certain slide and show you if you did want their names. Let me go to a slide and show you how we can get their names here. We're back to the slide that originally said online faculty meeting. How can we make our campus more inclusive? If you wanted to know who gives what to an answer, everybody click answer question again and add another response. And this time, put your first name and just your first name is good enough on this one. And now when I looked at the responses, I could see whose answer is what. If Julie had typed their answer here, or if I had typed the answer, or Amy or Natalie. So now if you really want to know who says what, Ernie said emphasize diversity. So that could be including if this is something you want to make sure every student is doing, just have them put their initials or their name as we go along. Now that we kind of understand how this works, let me get to a couple more slides and then I'm going to go and show you how I made this deck. So I love what their co-founder has said. Pear Deck gives every student a voice and every instructor deeper insight into their students' learning. So it kind of makes whatever we're learning two-directional. And not that every slide has to have input. Like this slide, it could be a teaching slide. There's nothing for the students to do here. What I think might be a best practice is I'll very often, when I teach my class with Pear Deck, have 4 content slides of things I need to cover. But then maybe the 5th slide allows the students to kind of check in and see where they're at. So it doesn't need to be everyone like we're doing. I just wanted to try. And I do want you to see the difference. There's a student view, which you're seeing on your device, or I could see up here by just going to joinpd.com and typing in our code. Let me go back and peek at our code here, HQLCN, HQLCN. So you could actually see that student side of it as well. So that way I can see the teacher side over here. And on another tab, I could come over here and see what the student would see and how they would see their immersive reader and try all those pieces out if they needed it. So we have both sides here. And a lot of these allow you to move things around. This is a tough one. Drag the dot to indicate your answer. Which hemisphere is currently experiencing winter? Let's try this, guys. Let's see if you guys are on this or not. Okay, they're experiencing winter. Certainly not our hemisphere. I'm going to give you a hint. But now you have to decide, what does that look like? Let's go see how everybody's doing here. Yep, you guys are right. It's the bottom half here. So you're like, oh, I'm going to move mine down. Okay. So, by the way, you can lock the screen. Look down here. And if you ever want to change the prompt at any point in time, I could put a new prompt in. Let me do that again. I'm going to come back here. At the bottom right, there, I can add a new prompt. Let's say I realize the class is getting a little lost. I could click New Prompt and just write pause and write what you've learned. So let's try that. I'm going to put this slide in real quick and put pause and write what you've learned. So everybody, what have you learned so far? Or maybe what you like about Pear Deck. So if you want to put that in, and then we can start to see. Yeah, so it's really, and the fact that it's free, that we can use in our courses tomorrow, I think is pretty exciting. And even if you are face-to-face, I think you could see a point in this where the students on their devices could still be a part of the class if the students have some kind of devices. Hey, real quick, where was everyone born? Let's see. Maybe you want to ask that question real quick so you could see where that is. And maybe you can see our diversity of our class. Up, a lot of US people up, but everyone's, I see some Canadians up there. That's good. Oh, I love that. We've got someone from Japan. Very cool. So we can kind of see where the world is from. And again, we can drag some of these tools. Everyone put the red flag on Australia or the orange item on Africa. And again, you can customize this slide. It doesn't have to be Australia, Africa, Asia, and Europe. So let me, now that you kind of get ideas, everybody's moving around. You guys are doing a great job, by the way. And this, again, a younger grade, older grade, whatever you teach. And I was just trying to be inclusive of almost everyone here. So let's see, people are putting dots on the nouns. Very good. Good. It's been a long time since some of us have done nouns. Okay, now that we kind of get what to do with this, let me show you how I made my deck. And just the last couple slides I want to show you. This is nice to do during a presentation. Think of a question your classmates might have. You don't have to fill this out, but that could get other students thinking of, where are people confused? Where are we lost? In 1 minute, write the most important thing from today's lesson might be a good exit slip before they all leave. So now that you kind of see what this looks like from the student side, let's now go back to the teacher side. I'm going to go back to the website, peardeck.com. I've created a free login right here for my teacher login. And I have all these remote learning resources, creating a presentation. Make sure you take a chance to look around. But where are these decks? Let me show you. If we go under resources, we're going to go under activities and decks. Once again, it's called the Orchard. And what I mean by these decks are these pre-made slides, but of course that can be fully customized. And don't forget, you don't even have to use these. You could, I'll show you in a second, use a sidebar instead. So here's all of these decks. Let me show you how I got started. Let's say I want to do some critical thinking in my course. And this is something that in college I really struggle with, getting the students to think beyond the definition, to go deeper. I clicked right here under PowerPoint and allowed this, it first opens here, but I want to download this from this free version because I don't like working in this because it doesn't have as many tools. So if you open any of these templates, what I'd recommend is to download them. Go to File and Download As, and download a copy of these. And here's what happens when you download it. It downloads to your computer. This is now going to be opened in the full version of PowerPoint. So now when I open this, I get these decks, and there are literally thousands of these different types of slides that can be fully customized. So let me show you how to customize one of these. So in a class, I want them, let's say we're doing an experiment. I want them to observe, describe what you saw or what happened in our biology experiment. So whatever the class is, so I could customize this. I often don't like this graphic. It may be too young and it might not reflect with my students. So instead, I could just go into PowerPoint and go to Insert Picture, Online Pictures, and I could pick for my students, I want college-age students. So that would relate to them better. So maybe I replace this image with one that would be, more age appropriate for my students. And now this slide is ready to copy. And you say, what do you mean copy? This is the confusing part. Everybody, whoa, you might have to replay this. I now have two slide decks open in my world. I have the slides that I already made for content. I want everyone to imagine I just made a PowerPoint, maybe a deck came with my book. These are my content slides. But I want to copy in one of these slides that I just customized, this one. To copy it in, I can just right-click and copy, go over to my other deck, right-click and hit paste. I usually like the second one, so it keeps the formatting. And now that slide is a part of my content deck. And it's going to allow the students to respond. Now, I can keep finding more and more slides. Maybe I want this one. How might we, insert a question here? Maybe I want to consider what we need to know. Maybe I could do a thing like draw conclusions. Again, right-click and hit copy. Go to my real PowerPoint, if you would, the one that I'm going to be showing, and then paste it in. Now that I have my deck ready to go, I'm just going to save this to my cloud. And here's what that means. I'm going to go to File, Save As. It would say Save As the first time. And go to, let's say, OneDrive. OneDrive is the cloud that you can store like Google Cloud. This is Microsoft's cloud. And the reason I'm saving it to the cloud and not just the local PC right here, I'm going to save it right here, is that way I'll be able to open it in the online free version. So now when I go to office.com and open my PowerPoint slides, whatever I've saved to my cloud is now available. So here's the one I've been working with. It says I just edited this just seconds ago. And now I can open it into the PowerPoint to get everyone involved. I have to run my PowerPoint in the online version because everybody else is online. I hope that makes sense. Woo! So a lot's going on there. Once again, I would make sure I've hit Insert and Add-ons and have Pear Deck, like we said at the beginning. So we've already got Pear Deck in here, so that's good to go. And I would see that by going under Home. These three dots have this little Pear Deck. And then I could present with Pear Deck. One more thing before, I know this is a lot going on, but I think it's worth learning because it can do so many things in your class. Down here, you can add text questions, multiple choice questions, number questions, website on any slide. So let's say on this slide right here, I wanted to say, how many bullets do I have? I could put in a number question and say, I could type in a question right here. such as, how many are there? And the class could answer a number. I could do multiple choice here. Do you see my multiple choices? And I can add as many as I want. So if you don't even want to use any of these fancy templates, you would be able just to put in a text question, a multiple choice. And what I often do is go out to the text test bank that comes with my course, and I often will copy the multiple choice questions into it so the students can practice, are they ready for that next quiz or test or wherever we're at. And I do want to show you in Microsoft Teams, their Flipgrid is part of Teams. All we'd have to do is click this little plus sign. Some of you should remember this from earlier. Here's Pear Deck, here's Flipgrid, here's Kahoot. Kahoot's a good one. Here's YouTube's, here's websites. So we can add a Pear Deck anytime to inside of our course so that our students can see it very easily. So I did want to show you this is all integrated in the big picture. I put Pear Decks in Canvas at my college all the time so that students can participate. So if you're a Canvas user, it works the same way. All you'd have to do is put a link in to your presentation. So now we're starting to see all these pieces. Woo! That's a lot going on. Let me come back to you guys now and answer some Q&A here because I know that was a lot of information. So everybody put yourself back on mic. First, what are some presentations? What do you think about using Pear Deck with students, good or bad? We're open. Who wants to jump in? And I'm going to show Amy's. Amy's, do you mind sharing what you think? Because I want to show yours real quick.
No, that's fine. I'm glad I came to this though, because I didn't see when I was making them that where we had that purple bar that you could move across. Where did you get that?
It was in one of the decks. It was in social and emotional learning.
Okay, because when you have the choices down there, you have the scale, multiple choice and that kind of stuff. So you have to find that one in a deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why those decks, if you want to look through them, have a lot of different types of questions. I don't know if you noticed, we did everything from chemistry to math to science. There's just so much out there.
It didn't seem to be as much for the primary grades, though, which was
yeah, they have one for kindergarten, grade 1 and 2. But again, we can customize any of those slides to whatever we're teaching. We don't have to do the letter B, we can do the letter G. Let me just show you real quick while I still have this screen. Amy already did her homework and I already asked her if this would be okay. And I want to share, she did such a good job on her slides. Amy, you're going to get a good grade when I'm sharing them with everyone. Where are yours? Let me see. I have too many tabs open. Oh, here we go. So Amy, just share a couple, some of your slides. Do you want to explain what these are going to be for?
Well, the first one is the one that I made. So it was just a picture of something that we would do is habitats, environments. And so that was just an example of like a short answer kind of question. So
and does everybody see at the bottom, she's got desert, ocean, forest. Very good.
All the others are ones that I took from decks. I just got different ways of responding, drag and drop, multiple choice, draw lines. That's a numbers one. Some of them that look like they're duplicates, I did one from the deck and then I altered it a little bit. So there's one towards the bottom, that one, I did the nouns and then I changed it to be adjectives. And you can change where on the nouns one, that was just one from the deck. So this one I used the same one and changed the nouns to adjectives. And then instead of using the circles, I think there were red circles on one, you can do stars. So you can take what they have and change the icons or change the words so that you can use sort of the same slide different ways.
And by the way, she used Google Slides, which is great. So all she has to do this with her class is hit present. And now her class would use Google Slides instead of PowerPoint. So it doesn't matter which platform. I like that.
Well, Bedford is Google. So it was really nice that we could use this, especially since we're preparing in case we have to be home, that this would be easy to insert into their Google Classroom and have everything in the same spot.
I like that. That really works well. And so this works whatever your platform. Thank you for sharing, Amy. Everybody, she did a good job. Let's see. Let me come back to our group. Who else wants to share or question or comments? Everybody's staring.
I had, how do you find, if you're looking for something specifically, what do you look for? Like, say that slide where you pick the nouns or the adjectives. Where would I go? How do I know, number one, it exists, and number two, how do I search for it?
Yeah, so when you go to the Pear Deck website, they have all of these templates, and they're built into, most of them are like math, littles, social emotional learning, world languages, social studies, chemistry, science, gratitude, ELA, all these different. So that would be a good place to start. But they have this thing called Weekly Wonder template. Each week, people just share what they've done. And I have found a lot in there as well. But I would start maybe with whatever the closest to your subject area, and then start there. But I think everyone can use critical thinking, deepening instructional practice, celebrating students, building community, templates for the beginning of class, end of class. So what I did the first day was just kind of look around to see, what's out there and how I might use them. But again, it can be overwhelming. So just grab a few to get started just to see what's going on. That's a great question.
I pulled mine from the one that says littles, because when I went into the math and the science, they were definitely like high school, or way above my second graders. So I went through the littles one, which is why I was saying there didn't seem to be as much for the primary, because where it says math, science, ELA, that wasn't for elementary.
But again, customizing anything or beginning of class, or even a little bit of the critical thinking of how are you feeling today. Love that. Questions, comments?
Yeah, hey, Corinne.
Yes.
Do we definitely need a Pear Deck account to be able to use it within the free version of Office on office.com? Because I tried to open up a new account on Pear Deck the other evening, and I entered my Microsoft credentials, and it asked me for administrative access, password, and all that stuff. And
yeah, what I would just do, Ernie, is you could sign up with just a free account, you know what I mean, like an outside of school. Our school accounts are so locked down at CVCC, and that's an issue. And that's what they're working on at ITE. So for example, I just used my Gmail account when I signed up for Pear Deck, if you'd rather, and that was not a problem. So if it starts asking you for stuff that seems locked down, just use any account.
I tried to use my personal email, which is Microsoft, and it let me in that either. So I don't know what
it works for you individually. It's worked for everybody else, so let me work with you, Ernie, to make sure that works for you.
Okay. I may have to open up a new Gmail account or something to get it to work.
Yeah, I'm sorry that's everyone's not had issues except our CVCC faculty. You would think we would have all the rights, but it's kind of it's a long story. I don't want to go into it. We all have issues in our schools, eh?
I'm curious, Corinne. Just lay it all out for us.
I'll talk to you later.
Corinne, I had asked a question on the chat about
let me see.
the student responses.
Yeah, let me, Beth, right? It says, I may have missed this. I had to take a phone call. After your presentation's over, do all the student responses remain? Great question. So everything we've seen today is from the free part of of Pear Deck, sorry. They do have a paid feature that some schools choose to use which creates a grade book, and you can then see what every student has responded permanently all throughout the semester. Our school doesn't seem to be buying anything right now, so I didn't show that, but that is a feature that could do that. But what I'm trying to do really is make this two-way happening in classroom discussions. I don't honestly use it a lot for heavy grading, but it can be.
So as a follow-up, then you can see it in real time just to get feedback, like to see who's having trouble. You can see their responses, but once it moves on, you can't see it anymore on the free version.
The situation is that if I used, it asks you when you're done every single time, do you want to save that session on the teacher side? So yes, I could go back in there. If the students had used their names or initials or whatever, I could go back and look at it, but it won't appear like in a beautiful grade book setting in the free version. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if your
there any way
school
for the
buys
kids-
the grade book piece, then you would see it in the grade book.
Is there any way for the kids to save their work, to use it like a notebook or notes kind of thing?
Yeah, so on their side, they would just be answering on their side. It doesn't save anywhere. It's more of that, how are they doing at that moment? The only other thing that you could consider is them to take a screenshot of their responses, kind of like we do in this class. And again, that paid feature would allow that to happen, but I'm trying to keep everything free in this particular course. But great question. Other comments? What do you guys think about it, using it as a two-way discussion tool?
I liked it a lot. I'm just worried about getting started on it.
Yeah, and if you want to work with your partner on it,
I'm not too encouraged about my assignment, but we'll see.
I can help anytime. This one, I think, by the way, this is the toughest one we'll do the whole summer. I did it right in the middle, but I can help you if you need an extension, let me know. But if you want to work with your partner, don't forget that often helps to work together. And we have this recorded in moments from now. I'm going to put this right into our chat so you can watch this. Please, please, please watch the videos that I've also posted that are professionally done by Pear Deck, and they have the Google side and the PowerPoint side. Who's from Campbell County? Campbell County Schools? Someone. Campbell County, I know, is putting this in their school system for every teacher for this fall. So that's neat to see.
I'm in Campbell County.
Yeah. Were you always using it in Campbell County, or will this be new?
This is new. We had a 15-hour module we had to take on it.
15 hours. Oh my goodness. I bet you could teach this course.
Well, no, I mean, I learned some new stuff today, so that's pretty cool.
So if you're doing both Google and PowerPoint, it's a lot to learn, but focus on whatever side you're on and just worry about that side. It's a lot to learn both sides. Although I think it's a little easier in the Google Classroom. You just can slide them right in. Amy, did you find it not too hard? I'm not hearing you. I'm sorry.
It wasn't too hard. The only thing that was confusing is when I was trying to share it to myself, because I had I X'd out the sidebar just so I would have more space. Then I couldn't figure out how to get it back to share it to myself. So if you just go back to your add-ons, whatever they're called, then it pops back up and then I could share it.
Yeah, it does that sidebar hides on you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you want. I can always pop on anytime over the weekend and Monday as we move along. Real quick, who's tried Google Lens this week already? I want some comments. Yes, what did you guys think? What did you do with Google Lens? I want to hear a couple examples, so those who haven't tried it yet. Y'all are shy.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know how I would use it with second graders yet, since they don't have
devices.
mobile devices and all that research and that kind of stuff isn't quite there. And we work on it, but not independent. But it was pretty neat to just play around, taking pictures of bugs and plants and showing the kids that, oh, I can look up your crops and see where else to buy them and how much they were, that kind of thing.
I use those in the business and marketing, economics. I think Ernie, I liked what you said about your Google Lens. Ernie's
Yeah,
thinking
I'm
about-
not, I still haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to incorporate it in the economics course, though.
Yeah, I would think if you're just out shopping and you want to compare prices to what you see, so you don't pay the highest ticket item, it could be a
I mean,
great.
I could see an application in personal finance, which is basically what you're getting at, but what I do in way of economic theory, I don't really see where that would be.
Yeah, it might not work there. I get that.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. One other thing. Let's see. Next week we're going to learn something called PowerPoint Live. So we'll meet you back in this environment or watch the video. Again, let me know how you're doing. I'm hoping you're finding at least a couple tools this summer that brings us into the positives of 2020 and not just the negatives, which I know has been quite challenging. Well, guys, thank you for your time. And what if I can't get Google Lens on my phone? I hope you can borrow, Lenora, someone else's phone, or if you have an iPad or a tablet, it also works. Lenora, we'll have to work on offline to see what we can do on that. And by the way, Juville, how do I save and paste on a document to share with my class? I think we're talking about sharing the PowerPoint from Juville. I might want to take that offline. I'm not sure what that is. Yes.
I have been using Google Lens forever and ever, but I
Good.
just have not thought about saving things. Like when I am at the botanical garden, I would take Google Lens of some plants that I don't know what it is, and then I find out what it is, but it's gone. So how can I save? I have
Great
my
question.
iPhone.
So
how do
with
I
your
save that?
iPhone, open your camera, take pictures, just regular photos of anything and everything. When you open Google Lens, in the top right-hand corner, it has a button where you can open your photo gallery and pull any of your image that you've already taken into there so you can see what you've taken. So I usually take the pictures first and then open it into Google Lens to examine what that is later, and that way I can share it with more of my students. Does that make sense?
Thanks.
So, okay, guys, well, have a great week. I'll talk to you next. Thanks, you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank